If all you're eating is candy at 9:30 in the morning, you're really not going to give yourself the proper energy to sustain yourself and your focus for the rest of the day. The very first school I taught at, all of the students ate family style in the cafeteria, grades kindergarten through 5, and they were all home cooked meals. Everything was well balanced by a dietitian. These things that I have, a personal interest in. We have a little hydroponic station in the corner where we start things like, basil and oregano from seed, and then the students get to transplant them into soil when they're large enough. The whole idea of a rainbow diet is not lost on me, making food healthy, but also beautiful. It's funny how just, getting that aesthetic appeal of not having everything in your lunchbox look the same. I am a firm believer that, life needs to be in balance.
Welcome back to this super exciting episode of the Microbiome Superhero podcast. So, for those of you who are joining for the first time, this is a series of podcasts that we are doing on gut health for children. So, my company, I'm a co founder of the company Arnagen Solutions, a microbiome resource company, which provides end to end solutions on everything related to gut health, mental health, and emotional health. So, in this series that we are doing, we have an amazing speaker. If we think about who influences us the most, we are the most impressionable when we are young. During the ages of 6 to 12, children are very, very impressionable. And there are three groups of people who influence us the most during that age. These are our family members, our peers, or the group of friends that we have. I'm not talking about social media yet. And the teachers, educators that we have. The teachers can have very subtle yet impactful influences on our lives that can last a lifetime. So I don't bring in somebody who sets a very positive example in the class. So I worked with many, many teachers over several years, and I had many teachers myself who have been amazing. But the kind of things that I saw in this class were another level at the American School of Doha. So I'm going to invite another little guest to introduce the guest of today.
Hello, my name is Rashmi Kulkarni, and I am one of the co-founders' daughter in Arnagen Solutions. And today I want to introduce my teacher, Mr. Balensiefer. He is a fourth grade teacher in the American School of Doha, and he teaches us homeroom including math, social studies, science, and etc. And also, I would like to add that you are a very awesome teacher and I've ever had, and I would like to thank you for all your effort.
So welcome, Mr. Balensiefer. And I really wanted to appreciate and highlight what an amazing work you're doing, a job you're doing at the school. Anything related to health for young children is something that parents are worried about. So, whenever we are talking about young children, teachers make such an amazing impact on their lives. So, I know you are an upper elementary teacher at the American School of Doha, but having a little bit of a background, if you could briefly introduce yourself, where you come from, and how you started on this journey would be great.
Yes, my name is Kyle Balensiefer. I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana, in the United States, and I am a elementary educator now for 17 years. I spent the first 5 years of my career teaching in the state of Indiana before I moved to the Middle East, where I spent 7 years teaching in Kuwait, and I am now in my 5th year here at the American School of Doha.
Amazing. So I've seen many teachers in many different schools over the year, my own teachers, my children's teachers, all of them have been amazing. But when we started this class in grade 4, I thought this was just another level. Looking at what you are doing in the class in terms of how children are actually following healthy habits, that is something that I think should be appreciated. And getting children to actually follow this, where they are eating healthy food, you have managed this quite successfully. So just wanted to know how you are doing this, how others can follow what you are doing.
Um, Honestly, I can't remember exactly how it started, other than I was fortunate enough to teach in schools in the States where the health of students was at the forefront. The very first school I taught at, all of the students ate family style in the cafeteria, grades kindergarten through 5, and they were all home cooked meals. Everything was well balanced by a dietitian, and it was just wonderful to see these healthy, happy kids perform uh, at high levels in school because they were being fed the most nutritious foods that they could get. And then when I moved overseas, I was again fortunate to work with these really wonderful schools, but I also noticed that sometimes kids were being given maybe too much control over their food choices without maybe the education behind it to make the proper decisions. And so I just decided to very simply implement a point system in my classroom where the kids could kind of competitively eat healthy. It's pretty simple. Each day they have a fruit and vegetable in their lunchbox. Then they can get a point, and they just compete as a class to see who has the best week. And usually the year starts out pretty slow with maybe 6 or 7 kids who have fruit and vegetable, but as the year goes on, the numbers go up, and I think today we had 16 out of the 19 kids in the room who had fruit and vegetables. So it's not a perfect solution, but it seems to be working pretty well.
That is amazing. And I see that, this healthy competition for just eating fruits and vegetables is amazing, because parents try very hard to get their children to eat all of these things. It's not easy. I've been trying this for several years. I know the kind of effort it takes to get children to eat all of these healthy things. And they are doing this by competing with each other, by seeing positive examples that you are setting, you are doing the same, by getting some kind of a reward, which is as simple as, I think, stickers, is really working quite well. It is really amazing as to how simple this solution can be. I found that quite incredible, quite impactful, and I want other teachers to take a note of this. This is something that should be followed, should be appreciated. What you said about people who are being fed nutritious food, healthy food, performing much better in tests goes back to this improvement in gut health, which we are heavily focusing on. So, in order to do that, we obviously need the support of teachers like you. There are many other things that you also do in the classroom. You encourage healthy habits. What are those things? We would definitely love to know.
We do quite a few things in my classroom, and honestly, sometimes it doesn't always feel like it's that special. It's just these things that I have, a personal interest in. We have a little hydroponic station in the corner where we start things like basil and oregano from seed, and then the students get to transplant them into soil when they're large enough. I have a healthy group of plants in here, which it could be helps to cleanse the air from the dust that we get here in Doha. But in all honesty, that started more from my missing of the green that I had back home, and it just kind of flourished from there. We're very fortunate, actually, even though it is a desert, to have a nice covered outdoor space just outside my room where students are able to learn and enjoy fresh air whenever possible, sunshine, and they have that ability to find the right place, whether it be in nature or out of nature, that helps them focus best and learn.
That was very important that I heard about you talking about how peppermint can help just before exams. It might also help to reduce stress. The other thing that I heard is that you are telling students about the scientific explanation for these things that you're using, scientific publications about it. It is backed by research. It is not something that you just take up and tell students to do. That's an interesting way of getting them to do things.
Yeah. So the peppermint idea comes back to actually something that I learned in high school from one of my teachers. And I think it has a couple of different benefits to it. So not only is peppermint been shown to briefly boost brain activity for about 20 minutes, which is a great thing to give kids like right before an assessment. But it also takes the edge and the anxiety off of the assessment when they kind of get this small little thing that they're not getting all the time. It makes it feel less like this terrible thing and more like, oh, okay, it's not what I want to do, but at least I get this nice thing. And then, and this is just my own speculation, but I imagine there is a small placebo effect to it as well. When you tell the kids about the research and they actually believe it, then there's the added benefit of, oh, I can do better because of this, but they're doing better because they think they can, more about mindset than anything else, right?
Absolutely. So you've added two things here, which is the placebo effect along with the benefits of peppermint itself. This additive effect is obviously going to show its effect in how the students are performing, at least how they perform or how they feel about themselves when they're going for this test or assessment. So this is quite incredible that you have achieved. The third thing that we talked about before is the consumption of fruits and vegetables. So there is this stacking of good habits that is happening in the classroom. And the stacking is very, very effective in getting multitude of effects on different parameters of health, how they're performing, how they feel, how their mental health is, how their immunity is, because the classroom feels so calm and there are so many plants in the classroom. It's such a positive atmosphere. It's such a positive role model. The stacking of these different habits is very important. It wasn't always like this, or how was it for you? Did it start from when you began teaching?
What, I'll be honest, like I did not grow up probably eating the most healthy foods. I think my parents did the best they could, but busy lifestyles and financial constraints can sometimes lead to fast and easier meals. As I got older and went out on my own and started to travel the world, I started to take an interest in my own health and fitness. And while I'm not as fit as I used to be, I really wanted to make sure that I was putting the right fuel into my body so that I could do the things I wanted to do. And then almost 7 years ago, I had a daughter. And so it became even more important for me to not only continue some of those habits for her sake, but to also model them so that it would become a normal thing in her life as well. So, trying to keep myself healthy for her, but also to show her that, these are important things. And like you said, they compound over time. When you eat healthy food, you feel better, and then you're more likely to continue that cycle and continue the healthy habit.
That again was very, very important. When you're stacking all of these habits, they have such a compounding effect. And the great thing about this is that you are following them yourselves. You are doing this for your family. You are providing scientific evidence for this, that it is backed by research. The students are obviously following what you are asking them to. The other interesting thing that you did is also that you took parents on board. Parents were also explained during the meeting as to what you are doing. When there's a collaboration between the parents and teachers, nobody's complaining about kids eating too many fruits and vegetables. I'm sure parents are rejoicing the fact that children are finally eating fruits and vegetables. I also wanted to mention the other thing, that thing about candy and anything that has sugar. What is your take on that? I've heard what you have told other parents about it. Can children actually bring candy or any other sweets or sugary things in the classroom? How do you handle this?
So, I am a firm believer that life needs to be in balance, and it wouldn't. I don't 100% follow the healthiest guidelines myself. I allow myself to have treats every now and again, like I think anybody should. And so I can't, in good conscience, really let just like flat out say absolutely zero extraneous sugar in your lunch boxes. Like, that's not realistic, right? We have to live in the real world, and the real world involves having treats every once in a while. And so when parents have come and told me, oh, my son or my daughter has told me that they can't have any treats whatsoever in their lunchbox, I'm like, well, no, that's not true. Like, you are their parent. You do get to make this decision ultimately. But what I do ask is that you support me in that, at least making sure that when we stop at 9:30 in the morning to take our morning break and to try to eat something to energize ourselves for the rest of the day, that you just encourage your child to not eat those treats then, right? We still have, at that time, 5.5 hours of school left. And if all you're eating is candy at 9:30 in the morning, you're really not going to give yourself the proper energy to sustain yourself and your focus for the rest of the day. And so while I would prefer to see no candy or treats like that at school, it's just not realistic. And so, that little give and take, that little, trying to work with parents and make kids understand that it doesn't have to be everything or nothing. There is some wiggle room there, and healthy decisions sometimes are incremental, right? You start making a healthy decision and then it gets a little bit easier, but I'm not trying to say you can never have any of these sugary treats.
Wonderful. I found that very, very helpful, how you were explaining to the students as well as the parents as to why they should not be eating candy or any other treats at a particular time of the day. And later is fine, because the sugar spike that they will have, it will impact how they pay attention, or how poor their attention is, how they're performing in class. So it's a great way of encouraging students to time the candy or whatever it is in a right way, where they can actually have activities later on where they're burning up the sugar, they're doing some kind of a physical activity, but not during school hours. So that's a great way of making sure that students are not disturbed during the school hours and they are actually paying attention to what is being taught in the classroom. I think the entire atmosphere is very, very positive when that is done. Did you have any kind of a resistance from the children themselves? I'm sure the parents are not complaining.
I don't get a lot of pushback from parents at all. Occasionally I'll get some confusion. Honestly, mostly I get just like gratitude. I never got my child to eat vegetables before, and now they're like asking for them every day. And I'm like, I'm happy for you. Hopefully that you can continue this when they leave my room. Like, it doesn't seem like a big deal to me, because again, like, it's a simple competitive point system. It takes me almost no time, and it's very little effort on my part. As for the kids pushing back, yes, absolutely. They're 9 and 10 years old at this point, and you can develop a lot of habits in your life by this time, and for some of them, like, these are ingrained over years, that they are going to eat the same things and have the same things every day. And kind of pushing back on that, they don't always like it, but usually by this time of the year, mid-October, the arguments have completely subsided, and they just accept. It doesn't have to be a contentious thing. It's just, you're just very consistent with it, and they eventually just kind of accept that you are right, and that you're not trying to do anything to hurt them.
Absolutely. When they actually see how they are performing, how they're feeling throughout the day, how their energy levels are, and how calm they're going to feel after this positive choice that they have made, they will not have anything to complain about. The age group that you're teaching, 9 and 10, is a difficult age group. As a parent, I found that to be the beginning of the difficult ages. It definitely beats the terrible twos. When children are this age, 9 to 10, they are not teenagers yet, and they're very confused. They know teenage is coming. So you are handling this age group, it's in an amazing way. And setting these positive examples, habits, is just incredible. It's the best thing any parent can ask for. It also has another additive effect that children have these healthy habits early on. They are going to influence how their family eats as well. It's not just them. When they start asking for fruits and vegetables, parents are also going to have to buy all of these. It's not just an effect on the children themselves, they are impacting how others around them are eating, how they're making choices. Not only is this a very impressionable age, but it will really impact on the family, on society itself. The kind of positive teaching that you are doing is influencing society as a whole. It's not just the child or the classroom. This age is also very heavily influenced by social media, by peer pressure of eating junk food when they see other children eating junk food. We know it is designed to make them very, very addicted because of a high usage of salt, sugar, and unhealthy fats. So, when we have all of these pressures on the children, it is very important for parents and teachers to consistently enforce things in these ways. These are just simple examples. Do you have any other stories or experiences of any time where this did not happen?
Um, oh goodness, I did recently have a conversation with parents where it was actually just a little bit more defensive than anything else about making sure that I understood that they eat healthy at home, and that my trying to get their child to eat healthier really didn't reflect how what they were doing. And really, it's just all about stepping back and looking at the larger picture, and just saying we're in this together, right? Like, you are a parent and your job is to raise your kid. I am a teacher. It is my job to keep them safe and hopefully, teach them in a healthy and safe environment. And working together as a team, it's not meant to be this contentious thing. It's meant to high tides raise all ships, right? If we're all on the same page and we're all focused on the same um, health goals, then everyone gets better, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, when we have these point systems for fruits and vegetables, parents have to make sure that they are going in for different kinds of fruits and vegetables every day so the child is not bored, to make it interesting enough. And what ends up happening is that they include different color groups of fruits and vegetables. It happens unintentionally because we are also trying to make things interesting for children. When that happens, we go into something called a rainbow diet, where we are wiring children to include all five color groups of fruits and vegetables. That is incredible for the gut microbiome because that's what we are trying to encourage people to do, to eat as many different types of fruits and vegetables and other things in addition. So, when children get all of these vitamins, minerals, micronutrients, phytonutrients from these, they are going to increase the diversity of their gut microbiome. And this, in turn, is going to support amazing gut health. It is going to prevent a lot of chronic diseases later on. It is going to improve their mental health. It is going to improve emotional health. I'm sure you're seeing all of that.
Absolutely. And like I'm lucky enough to be married to an art teacher, so I can tell you the whole idea of a rainbow diet is not lost on me. Making food healthy but also beautiful. It's funny how just getting that aesthetic appeal of not having everything in your lunchbox look the same is actually a healthier choice for you in the long run. And we are pretty fortunate here in Doha, for the most part, that we do have access to a wide range of fruit and vegetables that aren't grown here or are grown in greenhouses, so that we can provide a high level of nutrition even in a desert climate.
Yes, that is so true. It is really amazing. The rainbow diet also makes the gut microbiome diverse. It makes children crave much healthier food and it leads to other healthier habits because they feel great. It's a virtuous cycle. When they are doing something healthy, they are more likely to choose other things that are also healthy. So, even the plants that you have in the classroom, there are so many plants. There are green spaces outside. But when students are confined in the classroom, it is very important to make it similar to nature and not sterile. Exposure to plants and something green that is amazing for the gut microbiome. I bring it back to the same topic. There are many things that you are doing that are stacking. Hydroponics, again, it's another way of teaching children how to grow their own food, because students or children are not doing any chores at home. They are not exposed to all of these things. They do not really know how much effort it takes to grow something from scratch. When they are consuming food, when they're wasting food, they actually do not have any idea as to how much time, how many months it takes to grow a single plant. So when you're doing this hydroponics or any other activity, it is adding this layer to their healthy habits, to the knowledge that children are getting, the hands-on experience that they are getting. That is also incredible. I've dabbled in hydroponics myself, and attempt in an attempt to improve the kind of nutrition we get out here. That is incredible. My daughter comes home and tells me very positive things that have happened in your classroom, and how children are actually encouraged to make all of these healthy habits, to compete with each other in a very healthy way, with parents also kept in the loop. Are there any other things you are doing in the classroom that again foster these healthy habits?
Um, I mean, honestly, in addition to the growing of the hydroponic plants and having the other plants in the room and the healthy eating, our school has an initiative based around composting, so that students can see their food scraps being put to use. We have several industrial-sized composters on our campus. And one of the things I do that is maybe a bit time intensive is I also collect all the pencil shavings that we have from our pencil sharpeners, and we save that for the compost too. So like the extra fruit rinds, the ends of cucumbers, the bits of carrots, whatever it is that's left over, banana peels are especially good, right? And we all throw it into the composter with sawdust, and then that compost is used on our campus to help increase these green spaces and make sure that they continue to flourish, at hopefully a lower cost to the school overall.
That is another very, very important thing. It is impressive that the children are already learning how to compost, which is a very eco-friendly way. Uh, it improves the quality of the green spaces, the number of green spaces that you have. Another thing that I heard recently is that you are also brewing your own kombucha, which is again amazing for gut health.
Yeah, I've dabbled at it a little bit. I don't know how much of an expert I am there, but it is something nice to kind of to know that I'm drinking something where I know 100% all of the ingredients that are going into it. Something that has a little bit of caffeine, which I think every teacher could tell you they need to get through the day, but also is something that makes you feel good. But again, going back to I know every ingredient that goes into it, and that always makes me feel like, oh, I don't have to worry about too much moderation when I know that that I control the quality of what's going into it.
Absolutely. So kombucha is again a fermented beverage, which is great for gut health. It is very useful for increasing the diversity of the microbiome. That is something that we always try and encourage people to consume. So teachers like you are promoting all of this. The techniques that you have used are very simple yet very effective. It is very rare to see teachers implement all of these things with the students, and students are choosing healthy food. These have long lasting habits that are extremely helpful. So I'm a coordinator of a nationwide program called Ahar Kranti. It's a pan India initiative for better nutritional awareness and solutions. I can tell you, I worked with all kinds of people of all age groups. It is very difficult for making people implement all of these. So the work that you have done really needs to be appreciated, needs to be celebrated. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the work that you are doing. I hope other teachers and parents will also follow this example and make this a much healthier place for all children. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for giving me a chance to talk to you today.
Thank you. So, viewers, if you've enjoyed this podcast, do share it with everyone who needs it, because we want our children to have the best possible gut health, to have best possible habits to keep them free of all diseases, to keep them in good mental and emotional state. So do like this podcast, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.